What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So with the recent global anniversary, it is coming to a close. We're at Kizuna time, and during Kizuna we start to get a little bit of inclination as to what's coming out towards the end of the month that is going to lead into the next month. And this time around, we have the introduction of two brand new debuting Sugo-Fest exclusives. Remember, this is just a generic monthly release character or batch of characters, so you know these units are going to be quite readily available. They're going to be on red tickets moving forward. They're just going to be generally easier to get compared to anniversary exclusive, Super Sugo-Fest exclusives, treasure map exclusive, Kizuna exclusive. These units are much easier to get, so even if you don't decide to pull on a banner with these units here, like, it's not the end of the world. They're going to be available on the treasure map Sugo-Fest as well. They're going to be more available. I just want to, get that through to you guys because this might excite some people, seeing the introduction of two brand new legends, the first of which being Basil Hawkins, and the one after that, which is going to be a brand new legend Killer, which is awesome. This is Killer's first legend in One Piece Treasure Cruise. And very fitting due to recent episodes in the anime, of course. A lot of people are excited for Killer and Hawkins. And let's just go ahead and start breaking down what they do, because we have a lot to talk about. So, the first character we'll talk about Killer first. So, Killer himself is an int-driven striker, which is kind of fine. Driven striker for Killer makes perfect sense and synergizes very well the fact that he has the same class and type combination as Super Tandem Kid. A character, it almost feels like this character was built to be used with Super Tandem Kid. And also the fact that this unit is a super type. You've got Super Tandem Kid, which is a super class driven, so just perfect combination between these two. And interestingly enough, he is a final tap character. So you've got Super Tandem Kid, who is a super tandem, and this guy is final tap. So you can understand where they're coming from here. But interesting as well, he has the potential ability, the very rare one that not too many characters have, that the ability to remove special limit. We haven't seen in any case where this is actually super useful, but it's just something to note that he has that, which is kind of odd. He does have the slot bind removal, which is also very, very good. Let's go ahead and start talking about this guy. So his captain ability, and I will say that there are a couple of errors in this little text box here. So it says it reduces the cooldown of Striker and Driven by 2 turns at the start of the quest, which is great. Love the cooldown reduction. And remember, Super Tandem Kid, as a captain, provides -3 cooldown to Driven and Striker at the start of the quest, which is awesome. Then it says it boosts the attack and slot effects by approximately 5.25. Now, if this was the case, it would mean that he is the best legend in the game, because the amount of damage you would get would be absolutely absurd. However, this is not the case. I did go ahead and have a look at the Japan translation that came out. It is not correct. This does not boost the slot effects at all. But it's a 5.25 attack boost, 4.75 otherwise, so you need to have matching slots. Boosting HP by 1.65, which is good. Strength, Dex, and Recovery are beneficial, and reduces health by 10% at the end of every turn. It seems very similar to Kid, You've got cooldown reduction, very high HP boost, good attack multiplier, matching slots, and self-health cutting, which is fine. Now, we have a look at the special ability here, which reduces Rainbow Shield by 6 turns, which is very good. Boosting color affinity of Driven and Striker by 2.5 for 1 turn, and it says that if your crew's HP is 50% or below when you launch the special, you get a 1250 base attack boost to Driven and Striker for 1 turn, and boosts their attack by 1.5 for 1 turn that can be overwritten. Now, this is very good because, as we know with Super Tandem Kid, when you launch his special, he gives you an attack boost, but if you already have an attack boost, you get an orb boost instead. So if you use the special of Killer when you're below 50% HP, you're going to get the 1250 base attack, the 2.5 color affinity, and a 1.5 attack that can be overwritten, and then you can use Kid's special, and it overwrites the attack boost to get Kid's, whatever it is, 2.75 or 3 times attack boost, but also because you had an attack boost, you get the orb boost component at the same time. So you can just see this unit works perfectly with Super Tandem Kid. Let's just continue on here because there's not a lot to talk about. It's very basic stuff. He seems solid. You've got the crewmate ability, making tandem slots beneficial to Driven and Striker, also giving a base attack boost, a base stat boost to Driven and Striker. Then you can have a look at his support. attaching to Kid, Heat, and Wire, and whenever the unit uses a special, reduces Rainbow Shield by 2 turns. Exceptional. It's always nice to see more supports come out for Kid specifically, so I love to see that. It's a very, very good support effect. Then you got the Super type, which requires one of the Supernova characters, which does include Blackbeard, and you can also use Heat and Wire, and the effect cuts your crew's health by 50%, which puts you in line with where you need to be for Killer's special, but then it says that it will further increase your crew's slot effect boosts by 0.25, and then boost damage dealt to defense down enemies by 2.25 for 1 turn, and changes int characters into super int. This is a pretty interesting super type special. Self-health cuts are very good because some teams prefer to be at low HP thresholds, and due to the fact that this character has, you know, all of these mechanics that are focused around self-health cut, it would be cool if we get like 6+ super type Katakuri, who is an int-driven character that likes to be at low HP also as well. So it would be interesting if we got a character super evolution such as that. I digress. This is a pretty good effect, but remember, it doesn't have any effect that allows you to apply the defense down. This just gives you the conditional boost. So as long as you have something else on your crew that can reduce defense, that will be great. I believe the rare recruit Heat and Wire that came out during Super Tandem Kids release actually does do defense down, so I believe this does work with that. So overall, it seems like pretty fine, and you can see why this unit came out like the way that it is. It's just meant to be used with the characters that came out previously. But outside of that, like, this unit is still just solid, like just solid effects across the board. I like the fact that this unit has great synergy with Super Tandem Kid. Super Tandem Kid's a really fun unit to use, and this unit just makes it a lot better. I wonder how this character is going to go in like a Kizuna, for example. I wonder if there's like a Psy Super Boss, will this plus Super Tandem Kid actually be a really good combination? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, he has Final Tap, and it's activatable as soon as you reach the final stage with no condition attached, which is fantastic. And the effect is very simple. It just gives you a base attack boost based on your HP. So if you're at 1 HP, you get 3,000 base attack. But if you're at up to 150,000 HP, you only get plus 800. So it is a scaling factor, which means that if you're above 150k, it's just going to be set at plus 800. But if you're all the way down at 1, then this is 3,000 base attack at level 5 is actually very good. And it does stack with other effects, which means that with his special, you can actually get with 1250 plus the 3000. If you're at 1 HP, you can get 4,250 base attack boost. It is pretty incredible. So Killer will be doing lots and lots of damage. So that's the breakdown of Killer. Like, he just, as I said, you know, there's not a lot to talk about. It's just very mundane effects, but the effects are just solid, you know. He's a good legend. We can have a look at his Rumble stuff real quick. So his special, Spin and Sonic, 32 CT, which is on the high end. Targets enemies in a large horizontal range for 2.6 damage, but then also inflicts 20% CT delay. I do like this, but you gotta remember that this is a 32 CT. By the time he launches his special, your opponents have likely already launched a majority of their specials. So unless if you have some type of way to increase your CT by using this character on the crew, that will be fantastic if you're able to delay them before they can launch the special. But then again, at the same time, you know, if your opponents have launched their specials and then Kid goes, or should I say Killer, you can just delay them by 20% either way, just stopping them from getting their specials back faster. Like, it is a good special. The damage isn't amazing, and it is horizontal damage, so it has a very high chance of whiffing and not hitting too many enemies. The effect itself is actually pretty solid, and then the Rumble ability focuses on int. Attack and HP level 6, which is very good, and then applies Slasher defense down level 5, which is very good if you're building an int team to go up against side teams, because a lot of the good side characters are indeed slashers, mainly focusing on Wano Lore, of course, and also V2 Odin. So, and you can also, you know, count Roger in that same case as well. So Rumble abilities seem decent, and unfortunately another error in this little informational graphic here is that they only show the GP burst. It looks like they put the wrong screenshots in. The burst itself, you have to take damage 33 times, not very difficult to do, and it does a large, or to say a large range, but it's actually targeting all enemies for 5 times his attacker's damage. It's actually pretty good, and then applies CT speed down level 5. You know, I could see you using this, you know, if you're at the very, very start of a battle, giving all enemies a big amount of damage, but also inflicting level 5 CT down is pretty good at the start of the quest, just to ensure that you get your specials before the opponent. I do like this. I think it's pretty good. Now, in terms of the actual effect of this character's GP leader skill, I do have it translated here from the Japanese tweet, and it gives your int allies attack and HP level 5, CT speed up level 2, and then driven and striker get speed and blow away up level 3 and defense level 2. This is going to be a very annoying season, I can tell you for sure. The fact that this unit gives all these buffs to int and driven, I already don't like going up against int and driven, and this just promotes that, so I'm not looking forward to the next set of Grand Party. It's going to be very, very frustrating. Anyways, that is the breakdown of Killer. I think that he's pretty good, but honestly, like, he doesn't amaze me, and I don't think that's a bad thing either. Remember, we're very close to the anniversary, May 12th, mark it down in your calendars. So the fact that we get a unit that isn't as desirable as, you know, some other legends that have come out in the past, it's not a bad thing. And remember, this is going to be an accessible unit that is more readily available, so you can go ahead and pick up the copies throughout the year, slowly level up that final tap and get him good to go. So anyways, that is Killer, but we have to end this video by talking about Basil Hawkins. Now, Basil Hawkins, I like the fact that we are getting a V2 Hawkins, but he does need to go ahead and get a super evolution for his Dex version 1 version. Either way, let's go ahead and break down Hawkins. He is a Psi Cerebral Striker, good class and type combination. I like it. Once again, slot bind, fear resistance this time, and also has final tap. So it's very, very interesting there. So Hawkins is kind of an odd character because you have a look at his captain. -1 cooldown at the start of the quest, pretty typical. Psi and Int boosting captain, 5x. Boost their attack by 5.25 when your HP is 90% or above, or when you're 30% or below. So if you're in the threshold between 30 and 90, it's just a 5x, but you can get 5.25 if you're at high HP or low HP. Pretty simple stuff. Boosting health by 1.3, makes unfavorable slots have matching slot effects, which is super cool. I like that. Not a lot of captains have this effect, but I like that Hawkins has this. You're just generating more slots innately as a captain, which is great. And then he has this effect that says adds +1 to special use count every time a crewmate uses a special up to 4. So this is what we've seen in the past with, I guess, like Legend Crocodile from the Treasure Map Sugo-Fest, and I guess kind of akin to the Global Anniversary Luffy, where in his captain he has like a value meter that is stored, and you can do things during the quest to level up that meter, of course passing turns and killing enemies. The way that you stack this meter is that you have to use a special from a crewmate. So every time one of your crewmates uses a special, this guy's captain will continually stack up his meter, right? Now we have a look at the special ability, because we need to talk about this one. It gives -1 cooldown to the crew, or to sign-in characters, should we say, boosting orbs of sign-in characters for 1 turn based on the damage that you've received. As soon as I read this, I was really concerned, but they actually made it a lot better. So you only have to take 30,000 damage to get the higher orb boost, which is kind of good. It's still a 2.5 orb boost, but then if you take 30,000 or more damage, it becomes a 2.75 orb boost. He then further says that if your captain is either Psi or Int, you reduce bind and fear duration by 6 turns, which is really weird. I mean, you don't see too many characters with a special that remove fear, so that's very bizarre. And typically you don't need to remove fear resistance. You know, it is nice to have, I guess, but it's not something that is readily needed in a special. Removing bind by 6 is very good though. But the really cool thing here is that it nullifies damage based on the current special use count. This is a really cool effect. Negating damage, nullifying damage is very rare. You don't see too many specials come into the game with this effect. So you got to keep an eye out on this because it could be very useful in the future. So you can get damage nullification for 1 turn if your special use count is at 0 or 1. Remember, the special use count is based in this captain effect here. It says that you can actually tank up to 1 attack if your special use count is at 2 or 3. So this is the same wording that they use for Treasure Map Jinbei's captain effect. For those who don't know, Jinbei says at the start of the quest, you can just tank any hit 1 time whenever it occurs. And this is the same thing here. So essentially, this lasts forever until you take damage. It's really good. And then you can take up to 2 hits if your stackable buff captain gauge is at 4. This is pretty incredible. The fact that, you know, okay, when you use the special, you get 1 turn of damage nullification. That's pretty cool. But if you're at 2 or 3 on the meter, on your gauge, then you will have a permanent damage nullification until you take a single hit of damage. So good, right? And of course you can get up to 2 hits, which is just incredible, right? It's such a cool special. I like that. But remember that the stackable buff only occurs when he is the captain. If you use this character as a crewmate, you are not able to apply this stackable buff effect, which means that you're always just going to get 1 turn of damage nullification. So you do have to pick and choose how you use this correctly. It does further say that it extends the crew's orb boosts by 1 turn, and it also does include his own orb boost. So that's kind of interesting that it's like, you know, give 1 turn of orb boost, but then I guess if you have a different type of orb boost, you can just use his special. You don't get his own orb boost, but then you can just extend whatever orb boost you have. So I guess that's kind of cool. So it's like, it's basically a 2-turn orb boost rather than just a 1-turn orb boost. So I guess that's kind of fine. And it also sets the special use count to 0 after you use the special. Special use count effects do not stack. So the way that it is, you know, you can stack up to 4 every time one of your crewmates uses a special. You get a stackable buff on his captain, but when you use the special of this unit eventually, that stackable buff does get reset back down to 0, which means that if you somehow use his special again immediately, then you only get the 1-turn nullification instead. You know, it's just, I like the way that he's built. I like the uniqueness here. So just to give you guys just a quick rundown of this special, -1 cooldown, you get an orb boost based on damage dealt, 2.5 or 2.75, reducing bind and fear by 6 if you have a Psi or Int captain. You also get the damage nullification for a variable amount of time. You extend any orb boost you have, and then reset your stack counter effect. So it's a lot of effects happening here, but it's pretty good actually. I kind of like it. His crewmate ability, resisting 2 turns of special reverse, is pretty good, especially when he has fear resistance himself, so I like that. And then he also makes Psi and Int characters Psi and Int slots matching, so that's cool. That's pretty cool actually, to make 2 slots matching to 2 different types. And then his support effect attaching to any Psi unit that is also cerebral, and when that unit uses a special, reduces damage taken by 30%, and a 1.75 orb boost to Psi characters. That's a really good support actually. Now, I can't think of too many Psi cerebrals off the top of my head that you'd want to use this for. Maybe Shank's crew, to be honest. You could use Shank's crew to get, you know, his super swap for the full board of slots and the 2.25 attack boost, use the special, get the orb boost and damage reduction all in one kit is kind of cool. I kind of like that. And then he has his super type, which we haven't even talked about. So again, very similar, where you just need one of the supernovas, including Blackbeard himself, as well as Kaido, so it's pretty accessible. Reducing the crew's special bind by 4 turns, and then boosting Psi and Int attack 2.5 for 1 turn, and then Psi becomes Super Psi. So you have a special bind removal by 4 is incredible in a super type, and you got to think, right, if you're running double Hawkins, you know, you could run double Hawkins if you want, to remove up to 8 turns of special bind. It's very strong. And then you got to think, this unit provides an attack boost, 2.5 attack boost. He provides a pretty good orb boost as well. With his special ability, he's got the cooldown reduction. Like, there's just lots of really cool effects here. I think Hawkins is a very unique legend. I like it. And then his final tap is kind of the inverse of what we had to look at with Killer, where you get a base attack boost, but this one is focusing more on having higher HP rather than lower HP. So if you're at 60,000 or more health, you get a 2,500 base attack boost and a 1,000 base attack boost at 1 HP remaining. So yeah, Hawkins is interesting, but you got to remember that these units are going to be available in a lot of different pieces of Sugo-Fest content in the future. They're going to be in treasure maps for red tickets and stuff like that. So don't get your knickers in a twist if you were unable to pull these units. Let's go ahead and briefly look at his PvP stuff. So Hawkins, with his Rumble special, 23 CT is very low. It says he gives himself a 20% health cut, which is weird. Then, if your HP is below 60%, he targets all enemies for defense down level 5. Respectable. When your HP is below 30%, he targets 3 high attack enemies, 80% chance of half stats for 10 seconds. It is good, but you have to be below 30% to get the half stats. It only targets 3 characters, and it's not even guaranteed to hit. It's only an 80% chance. So the thing is if this lands, it is so strong, but there's so many dominoes that have to be lined up in a perfect line in order for this to land correctly. So I'm not the biggest fan of it. I will say that the fact that it is a 23 CT is really good, so you're able to launch this quite often, but I just don't know if it's going to be that useful. Let's have a look at this Rumble ability. Psi teammates 6 HP, 6 attack, Cerebral teammates level 5 recovery. He also revives himself one time up to 50%. See, that actually could be kind of good actually, because if he revives, you're already at 50% health. He then gives you minus 20%, which puts him down to 40%. So yeah, it's going to be rough, but if you can get to that below 30% threshold to inflict half stats, I mean, Sai already have access to Sai Yamato. If you can put this on it as well, it could actually be the thing that you could put on your Sai squads in order to help you beat some of the more difficult teams in the game. I don't know how good it's going to be. It just seems a little too difficult in order to launch, and especially because it is a legend, so you're wasting a lot of your team cost on this character alone. So I don't know if I'd really want to, allocate all that cost for a character that does, what he does. Anyways, his burst, you need to defeat 6 enemies, and then it targets all enemies for 2,000 fixed damage, 100% chance of special bind for 8 seconds, and sign int enemies, speed down level 10, attack down level 10. Yeah, this is bad. You're never going to use this, and especially you have to defeat enemies in order to get it. Yeah, this is a bad GP burst in my opinion. The leader skill, Psi enemies, or Psi teammates, attack HP, speed 3, Cerebral Striker, teammates, crit up, level 3, CT speed up, defense up level 2. Yeah, this guy's bad in Grand Party, and he seems a little too niche in Rumble, at least in my opinion. You guys may have differing opinions. Definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions on the brand new Sugo-Fest batch featuring Killer and Hawkins. I mean, I don't think it's much of a surprise that these characters were going to be arriving in a Sugo-Fest batch somewhat soon due to what we had seen in the recent anime episode, of course. And there is a brand new Roronoa Zora rare recruit, which is, again, another badge with another Zora rare recruit. It seems like he gets a new rare recruit like every 2 to 3 months. It feels like it's kind of bizarre. And then another rare recruit we are getting is a new X-Drake, which is kind of cool. I'm a pretty big fan of Drake getting more support, which is great. Anyways, that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.